In the 1920s, something electric was happening in a neighborhood of New York called Harlem. Street corners hummed with poetry. Trumpets cried out from second-story windows. Couples spun across polished ballroom floors as if gravity itself had loosened its grip. Painters filled canvases with silhouettes of Africa and skylines of America merging into one bold vision. This was more than a moment. It was a cultural awakening that reshaped America and eventually influenced the entire world. At night, Harlem glowed. Inside packed clubs, music spilled into the streets. Jazz, unpredictable, emotional, alive, became the heartbeat of a generation. Musicians like Duke Ellington composed arrangements so rich, they felt like entire cities moving in sound. Louis Armstrong lifted his trumpet and bent notes in ways nobody had heard before. Jazz wasn't just music. It was freedom. It broke rules. It rejected stiffness. It celebrated improvisation, the ability to create brilliance on the spot. America had never heard anything like it. Soon, neither had Europe. Jazz crossed oceans. Paris fell in love with it. London embraced it. The rhythm of Harlem became the rhythm of the world. And from jazz came swing. From swing came rhythm and blues. From rhythm and blues came rock and roll. From rock came pop. From soul came hip-hop. If you turn on the radio today, almost anywhere on Earth, you are hearing the echo of Harlem. On gallery walls, artists like Aaron Douglas painted stories of migration, struggle, hope, and African ancestry. His bold shapes and radiant beams of light didn't just decorate rooms, they redefined how Black people were seen. Before this era, Black Americans were often reduced to stereotypes in mainstream media. But now, they were scholars, dreamers, musicians, intellectuals, and revolutionaries. Writers like Langston Hughes filled pages with poems about rivers older than civilization and dreams deferred but not destroyed. His words gave voice to millions who had been silenced. Art became a mirror, and for the first time, that mirror reflected dignity. America began to see that Black culture was not a footnote, it was foundational. Inside the legendary Savoy Ballroom, the floor shook nightly. The Lindy Hop exploded into existence there, a fast, joyful dance filled with spins, flips, and fearless expression. It mixed African rhythm with European partner dance structure and created something entirely new. But here's what made it revolutionary. The Savoy was integrated. Black and white dancers moved together at a time when segregation ruled much of America. On that dance floor, rhythm erased barriers. Soon, swing dancing swept the nation. Then it spread overseas. American soldiers carried it to Europe during World War II. Decades later, elements of that same rhythmic expression would influence hip-hop, house dance, and global street culture. Movement became language. And that language spoke of joy, survival, and style. Walk through Harlem in the 1920s, and you would see elegance everywhere. Sharp suits pressed to perfection. Wide-brim hats tilted with confidence. Silk dresses shimmering under streetlights. Fur collars and polished shoes stepping with purpose. Fashion wasn't just about looking good. It was about reclaiming humanity. For generations, Black Americans had been denied wealth, visibility, and respect. Dressing sharply became a declaration. We are worthy. We are modern. We are here. Zoot suits later became symbols of bold identity. Hairstyles, finger waves, Marcel waves, sleek bobs blended creativity with sophistication. Black style didn't stay in Harlem. It influenced Hollywood. It influenced magazines. It influenced global fashion houses. Today, streetwear, luxury athleisure, sneaker culture, and high-fashion collaborations all carry DNA that traces back to this era, to the idea that clothing can be cultural expression and resistance at the same time. Hair, beauty, and economic power beauty became business. Black entrepreneurs built salons, product lines, and networks of economic independence. Hair care wasn't just grooming, it was community, empowerment, and ownership. Beauty standards began to shift. Black features were celebrated in art and photography rather than hidden or mocked. Pride replaced shame. This laid the foundation for today's multi-billion-dollar Black beauty industry. An industry that continues to influence global trends in natural hair, protective styles, and textured hair care. When you see braided styles on international runways or natural curls embraced in advertising campaigns, you're seeing seeds planted during this cultural awakening. It shaped America. Before this era, mainstream American culture was often presented through a narrow lens. Afterward, that lens widened. Universities began studying Black literature. Broadway stages echoed with jazz rhythms. White audiences consumed Black music. Publishers sought out Black voices. America's cultural identity became inseparable from Black creativity. Think about it. The foundation of modern pop music, rooted in jazz and blues, the swagger of global street fashion, influenced by Black urban style, the rhythm of modern dance, built on African diasporic movement, the slang that fills social media, often born in Black communities. It's not that other cultures have no history or traditions of their own, they absolutely do. But when we talk about modern global pop culture, especially in the 20th and 21st centuries, it is nearly impossible to separate it from Black influence. Remove jazz, and the soundscape changes. Remove blues and rock disappears. Remove soul and pop transforms. Remove hip-hop and global youth culture, looks completely different. Remove Black fashion innovation and streetwear culture shifts entirely. Black culture became one of the central engines driving modern culture worldwide. The impact didn't stop at US borders. Writers in the Caribbean and Africa found inspiration in the artistic pride of Harlem. European intellectuals embraced jazz and modernist art influenced by Black expression. African independence leaders drew strength from the confidence projected by Black American artists and thinkers. Harlem became symbolic not just of a neighborhood, but of possibility. It told oppressed people everywhere, your culture is powerful, your voice matters, your art can change nations. And it did. At its heart, this cultural awakening was about reclaiming narrative. For centuries, Black stories had been told about them. Now they were being told by them. And once that shift happened, it could never be undone. Music no longer asked permission. Art no longer apologized. Fashion no longer imitated, it innovated. America became louder, brighter, more rhythmic, more expressive because of it. And the world followed. Today, when a rapper headlines a global tour, when sneakers sell out in seconds, when dancers go viral online, when poets perform spoken word about justice, when natural hair is celebrated, when jazz samples appear in pop songs, you're hearing an echo from Harlem in the 1920s. A neighborhood proved that culture is power, that creativity can challenge systems, that rhythm can cross borders, that style can demand respect, that art can reshape identity. The movement didn't just shape America, it helped shape what we now call modern culture. And once it began, the world would never move to a silent beat again. So when you listen to music, get the trendy hairstyles, and wear the latest fashion, remember that it all started during the Harlem Renaissance. If you enjoy Black history, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more stories like this.